I'd like you to picture a school. In one classroom, first graders design knee braces for an injured girl, while down the hall, fourth graders make underwater robots, while the eighth graders are on a field trip to a local wind farm investigating alternative energy use. Sounds inspiring, right? School of the future? Nope, this is just a typical day at West Hills STEM Academy, a public school in Bremerton, Washington, led by an amazing principal, Lisa Heeman, who's here with us today. Where are you, Lisa? She's here. Woohoo! It's a public school that truly reflects the diversity of Washington State. The students speak multiple languages at home. Nearly half are students of color. 71% live below the poverty line. But guess what's the most important thing that these students have in common with students in Seattle, Skagit, Spokane, Sunnyside? They have enormous hopes and dreams. Some of the first graders shared theirs with me on a recent visit. One wants to cure cancer. Another wants to explore Mars with her dog. Another wants to ensure that every person has a warm home, healthy food, and feels loved. It's our job to make sure that these kids reach their moonshots, and our job is urgent. Why? Because the future of work is changing, and it's changing fast. Did you know that 85% of the jobs those first graders will have don't even exist today? That's right, 85%. So we need to help them get ready for a very unknown future. And along the way, we have potentially an even more audacious feat ahead of us, which is to disrupt the chronic inequities that exist in our communities. With the accelerated pace of technological change, we have to get this right. Now is the time. For generations, our education and workforce systems have had structures and practices that are racist, classist, and sexist. And as a result, our students of color, girls, youth growing up in low-income backgrounds or rural areas do not have the resources and supports that they need and deserve to reach their full potential. These students are not failures. As a state, we are failing them, and we are all missing out. So what is Washington STEM doing about this? Well, a few months ago, we asked ourselves a back-to-basic question. What is the best way to expand student opportunity, not just for today, but for tomorrow? We took a hard look at our own data, at our own work. We looked at data, lots of data. Most importantly, we talked to hundreds of educators, business and community leaders across the state and across the nation. We talked with many of you, and we were very appreciative for it. And what did we find? We heard that across centuries and across cultures, science, technology, engineering, and math has been used to change lives and change the world. We know from data it is the clearest path to great jobs and economic opportunity. And as we look ahead, we know that STEM fosters the very skill sets that the future of work requires, making sense of big data, working in teams, teams with people from diverse backgrounds, teams with computers, pushing the frontiers of what our knowledge is and what's possible, while working with ethics and with empathy. And so we at Washington STEM came up with a big goal, which is this, that every student in Washington is future ready through STEM. So how will we get there? Over the next 3 years, you'll see us deep dive in 2 key areas. One, early STEM, and the second, career pathways, both of which you might resemble in the trips that you were taking this morning. So first, let's talk about early STEM. Picture this, you're back in that first grade classroom, and Miss Abigail is reading a book called Stack the Cats. The 6 and 7-year-olds around her, guess what they're playing with? Stackable cardboard cats. And as they're playing, Miss Abigail asks them a question, which is, why are some of the cats falling down? And out comes a flurry of playful responses that are already reflecting the core concepts of math, physics, and geometry. Raise your hand if you got to see Storytime STEM in action this morning on the excursion. I bet we're all jealous now, so sync up with one of those folks and see what it looked like in action. But Storytime STEM encourages parents, students, families, librarians to bring STEM to life while reading stories to young children. It's not only fun, it has life-changing upsides. Early math is one of the strongest predictors of future math and overall academic achievement. The questions work for students and books in multiple languages and for relatively low cost of time and money. And that's one of the reasons that Washington STEM is working with communities and policymakers to scale effective practices like this around the state. And over the next 3 years, we aim to reach 250,000 young learners in STEM, not just so they do well in STEM, but that they love STEM for the rest of their lives. So now let's talk about career pathways, our second key area of focus. We want to make it incredibly easy for young people in Washington to not only join our fast-growing industries, but to lead them. So think healthcare, tech, advanced manufacturing, aerospace, agriculture, maritime, you name it, we've got it in the state. There's just a couple of problems. A, the kids don't know about these careers. Or B, they don't have the opportunity to get prepared for them. Or C, maybe most heartbreaking, they're aware, they're prepared, they don't feel welcome. This all has to change. And that's why we're so excited to work with folks like Kaiser Permanente, where high school juniors can see what it's like firsthand to be a doctor, a nurse, a physical therapist, even a data scientist, by working alongside those professionals who reflect the rich diversity of the students themselves. Programs like these open young people's eyes and the doors to new careers. We know, and that's why we and our partners are working to build and ramp up high-demand STEM career pathways in every region of the state. And as I look around the room, there are so many examples of this that are already going on. We have the Boeing Core Plus program, we have the West Sound STEM Network, McDonald Miller New Youth Apprenticeship, we've got the Spokane Business After School, we've got SEH America, which is working with the Southwest STEM Network to bring advanced manufacturing internships to young people, even virtual internships to rural students. And those kids aren't just making silicon wafers for the tech industry. They are earning high school credit, post-secondary credit, they're earning a salary, and they're earning lifelong skills like making presentations and working in teams. So while there is a lot of exciting opportunity underway, in large part to folks in the room, and there's lots to build upon, one thing is clear. We need to work smarter, we need to work together, and we need to go faster. We need to build community, change policy, and spread what works. And that's why we're all here today, right? So over the next 6 months, we at Washington STEM hope that you will join us in 3 important ways. 1, let's ask Olympia to support career-connected learning. The iron is hot on this issue, in large part to folks in this room, and the governor will be with us here later today to share his plans to scale career-connected learning across Washington state. So let's thank the governor, and then let's ask him to start with STEM. Because we know that STEM is the clearest path to lifelong learning and economic opportunity, not just today, but tomorrow. And another reason we should ask the governor to start with STEM, look around this room. Where else is he going to find the leadership and the capacity to do big things for our kids. 2, we must keep a strong focus on equity. And at Washington STEM, that means working with urgency and introspection. It means learning when to lead and when to follow the community's lead. Throughout the day, we won't just be exploring what the future of work is, we will be exploring who is shaping and participating in the future of work. And we at Washington STEM imagine a Washington where race, zip code, gender identity, income no longer predict a child's education and workforce outcomes. And it's going to take all of us and our best friends and then some to get there. So stick with us. And 3, let's create change. Maybe you're a company leader who wants to start a mentoring program or figure out how to scale one up, or a teacher who wants to bring STEM to life, or a policymaker who wants to ensure that Washington State leads the nation with the most innovative and inclusive workforce that truly reflects its rich diversity. Reach out to us. We want to learn from you, partner with you. We want to connect you to the 10 regional STEM networks who day in and day out are on the ground working with businesses, schools, libraries, barbers, really anyone, everyone in the community who wants to expand student opportunity through STEM. What these pioneering networks show is what's possible when we work together as a movement. More impact, faster. And speaking of regional STEM networks, can I ask Deb Bowen to stand up and just wave her hand for a second? Deb. Hi, Deb. So Deb leads the Mid-Columbia STEM network over in the Tri-Cities. And in closing, I want to share with you a lesson that Deb has taught me about being a good leader. It's called wearing a big hat. When we wear the big hat, we take off the small hats of our individual self-interest. And when we wear the big hat, we seek out and we advance the interests of the entire community. And we always remember why we're wearing the big hat. It's so that those first graders at West Hills STEM Academy and across our state can achieve their hopes and dreams. So let's all put on our big hats and say hello to the future, their future. Thank you.